A cold air intake is a great mod for better performance and efficiency, especially for the 2020 and newer 6.6 liter gas Silverado 2500s. And this S&B Cold Air Intake with the Dry Extendable Cotton Filter is a premium choice to do it with. Now, this option by S&B offers a closed air box and a dry filter design, making it a great choice for the Silverado owner who is in search of extra filter protection out of a cold air intake and a good filter with a high flow, good for day-to-day driving, the work site, or even tougher trail riding. Now, the design here is also great for hassle-free maintenance. If you are tough on your truck and you want a reusable filter option that you don't have to worry about swapping as frequently as the factory one or taking any additional steps compared to something like an oiled choice if you're looking for a low maintenance filter. The sporty look and the premium design are also great takeaways from this system if you do want an intake that you can rely on when it comes to the quality of your Silverado. Now, S&B states that this has about a 16.5% airflow improvement over the factory system for less air restriction and less turbulence, directing more air into the manifold. Now, the filter is high flow and it simultaneously catches all of that small debris that does get through the housing, but the housing is going to shield the filter from any water or larger contaminants that could sneak up under the hood depending on how tough you are on your 2500. Now, this is also a heat-resistant design, so it's going to keep all of the air inside the system cool, keep all of that hot engine bay air out, which is another benefit of this closed box option. Now, the housing also comes with a snap-in sight window, making it very easy to keep an eye on the filter and very easy to access as well with the hardware-less design if you need to pop it out and clean the filter if it does get gunked up. Now, along with the maintenance aspect, the filter and the sight window also just adds a very premium look underneath the hood with the sleek appearance and the S&B branding. Now, breaking the system down, this housing and intake are made of a heat-resistant cross-linked plastic construction, being durable enough to resist heat and keep an efficient operation going on. Now, the housing and the tube are connected to each other and the truck with premium seals and a silicone coupler that are all heat resistant up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and are flexible for good fitment inside the engine bay. The sight window is also made of a polycarbonate clear construction and covers up the 8-layer cotton gauze filter underneath. This kit also comes with all the odds and ends needed for the install and does not require a tune in order to install it. Now, this is all about $400, being one of the pricier systems, but it's also one of the intakes that comes with the additional bells and whistles that you would want out of a premium option. Now, a few of those benefits being the hardware-less sight window, the high-quality materials for an efficient operation, and the low-maintenance, high-flow filter, making this a very well-rounded system for the Silverado owner looking to invest in a cold air intake that they can rely on. Install here is a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it'll take you about a half hour or so to completely install this. I know it looks like there's a lot of items on the table, but it is a very straightforward install. And at this point, I'm going to hand you over to one of our installers here who is going to show you step by step how to do it at home. So that is going to wrap it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you will need an impact, a 19mm ratchet wrench, a clip removal tool, a Phillips head screwdriver, an extension, T15 and T20 Torx bits, a 4mm Allen socket, 1/4 inch socket, 7, 8, and 10mm sockets. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing an intake on our Silverado, but before we get started, we're going to send you to watch a quick video on how to remove your factory setup, and we'll see you when you get back.
All right, first thing we need to do to get our air box off is we need to take our coolant pipe off of the back of the box and remove our PCV vent hose. All right, we're gonna grab our clip removal tool and we're gonna go underneath the clips here and pull them off the air box. And just set that off the side out of the way. All right, for our vent hose here, all we have to do is push this tab in and then pull it off and do the same thing at the bottom. All right, now we are going to take our clamps off for our air box and our throttle body. They're both a 7mm bolt. The backside on the throttle body, it's going to be very hard to see, but you can access it with an extension down behind the air box. All right, now once you have these clamps loose, you have a bracket back down at the bottom. You got to remove a clip here, and then this 10mm bolt. And you can pull your intake tube out of the way. All right, we need to disconnect our mass airflow sensor and disconnect the wiring from the top of the airbox. First, we're gonna pull back on the locking tab, release our connector, and then get our clip removal tool and take the wiring off of the airbox. All right, we're gonna take our ratchet and we're gonna take our 8mm socket and take out all the screws that hold on the lid to the airbox. We can take our lid out of the way and our factory air filter. All right, we're gonna grab our clip removal tool. We're gonna take our 2 gray clips out of our intake manifold.
Alrighty guys, welcome back. Now that we have the upper section of our intake and airbox off, we're also going to need to remove the lower airbox and tube for this new setup. So what we're going to do first is take off our hood latch release handle and this upper shroud so we can access our tube. What we need for that is a T15 Torx bit. We're going to remove these 2 screws and get this out of the way. So we'll pop these 2 screws out. Slide our handle off. So now to get our shroud out of the way, we need to remove all the push clips holding it in place. So we've got our clip removal tool. We'll pop these out and set this aside. There are some hiding in these corners. Have those out, you can pull this up and set it aside. Now we need to remove the push clip holding our tube in place. So again, with our clip removal tool, we'll pop that out. Get in here, pop this out. Sometimes it comes out from the top, sometimes we need to wait till we get the box out. So we'll pull that out for now. Next, we'll need to grab our 10mm socket and remove the nut holding our lower air box in place on the bracket. So we'll get in there and pop that out. Now we can reach in and remove our lower air box. Now it is held in by 2 dowels at the bottom, but they should just pop right out. Now one thing to note is you do not need to fully remove the lower intake tube going to your airbox. That will be reused for our new one. It's just going to slide in place, so we can leave that loosely in position for now. All right, so before we can begin installing our new setup, there's a couple things we need to do to prep our new system before it goes on. One of which is to swap over the mass airflow sensor from our factory intake to our new setup. So this is held on by 2 T20 screws. So we've got our T20 Torx bit. We're going to remove that and carefully remove the mass airflow sensor. So now that we've got our mass airflow sensor out, we're going to install our spacer and gasket onto it. Carefully slide this in place. And we'll put this into our new intake tube. And we're going to install our provided Phillips head screws. We'll snug these down with our Phillips head screwdriver. Now we can install our new fitting for our PCB system. So that's going to go right into this. We're going to thread that in. Now this is a plastic fitting, so you want to thread this down hand tight, and it is also tapered. So we're going to take this and just snug it. We don't have to over tighten it. And that'll be just fine. Next, we're going to install our 2 coolant line mounting brackets. So our one with a 90-degree is going to mount like so. The bigger part of your 90 is going to be flush with the mass airflow sensor side. We're going to use our provided 4mm Allen head screws with flat washers to get those in place. And once we have those loosely on, bring in our 4mm Allen socket and tighten these down. Then we'll do the same thing over here for our straight bracket. You want these to face in towards the throttle body side of your intake tube. So now that our intake tube itself is fully assembled, we're going to start putting everything onto our air box. First thing we're going to do is add our mounting bracket for that one stud that we have. So again, we're going to use 2 of our 4mm Allen screws. We're going to get this in place onto our threaded inserts in our air box. Get one in. Get the second one on. And we'll come back again with our 4mm Allen socket and tighten these down. Next, we're going to install our optional side plug. Now, if you want maximum airflow, you do not have to install this, but if you want cooler airflow, this is going to prevent any engine bay air from coming in through this side of the box. Again, totally up to you, whatever you prefer. We're just going to go ahead and install ours. Just slot this right in. Sometimes these can be a little stiff. Okay. Next, we're going to install our gasket for our factory air tube to come in. It's going to be in this bottom hole here. Next, we're going to install our grommet and spacer for this mounting bracket. The grommet's just going to pop right in. We're going to install our spacer. Okay. Now we're going to set our new air box in place. One thing to note is you want to make sure that your grommets for your locators stayed in place. If they didn't, they're definitely on the lower air box you pulled out, so just make sure to grab those and pop those back into place. Very simple, just push them right in. We're going to line up our locators and our factory mounting stud. Now you can remove that factory spacer. Now before we reinstall our 10mm nut, we want to make sure our lower factory tube is going into our new air box. It's kind of hard to see, but if you reach into your air box, you will feel it. Should be pretty much lined up with that grommet we installed. Just want to push this into place. We're going to reinstall our push clip. And that'll be good to go. Now we're going to reinstall our factory 10mm nut for our mounting stud. It's right going to be on that bracket. We'll bring back our 10mm socket extension and tighten this down. So now we can install our intake tube grommet onto our air box. That's going to go right here. Now you can install this from the outside or the inside. It's just going to go into this groove. However, you want to make sure your inner sleeve is facing into the air box itself, because your intake tube is going to come in from this way. We'll get this installed. It is a little tricky at first. Kind of have some patience and work it in. Now we're going to get our filter into our air box. You want to make sure the closed end is facing down. The open end is kind of facing up towards that grommet we just installed. We're just going to leave it there for now. So now we're going to come over to our throttle body and install our new coupler. We're also going to put our clamps loosely on there. You want to make sure you have the screws for your clamps in an accessible point and get both of these on before we install the intake tube. So I'm going to set these like this, and then we'll get this on the throttle body. Make sure that gets fully seated. Next, we're going to fully remove our PCV hose because we are going to be replacing that. Now the fitting on the other side, even though it's very hard to see, is the same exact fitting that's on this side, so you just need to push in and pop that fitting out and remove that hose. So now we're going to install our new PCV hose. It comes with new fittings. First, you want to slide your clamp over your hose. We're going to get our fitting into our hose. You want to work that down flush. And once you have your fitting in, we want to tighten down our clamp with our 1/4 inch socket. And once you have this side tight, you can do the same thing for the other side. Now we're going to install our new hose with our new fitting onto the engine side. And just push that down until it clicks. Now we've got our intake tube. We're going to get that into our air box fitting first and then into our throttle body. Now once you get this through to your air box side, come in and get it on our throttle body. Pop that in, and we'll set our clamps in place and tighten these two down. So now we've got both our clamps lined up. We're going to grab our 8mm socket and tighten these down. Now we can plug our mass airflow sensor in, lock that tab back into place. We'll get the other side of our PCV hose in. Now when doing this at home, you can cut this down to size. For demonstration purposes, we're going to leave it at length. Now we're going to need to move the mounting brackets for our coolant line. So for that, you can just pop this up, slide these over. And this one's going to go underneath. This one's going to come over, right in up top. So now we're going to get our filter onto our intake tube and tighten down the clamp on that. Pop that in place like so. Now we'll take our 8mm socket and extension and tighten down our clamp. Now we can install our cover, and this is gasketed. Next we'll reinstall our shroud. Make sure that lines back up with our air tube. Then we can reinstall all our push clips. Once you have the first couple in, you can do the same thing for the rest of your clips. Now we can reinstall our hood latch release handle. So we'll slide that back on. We'll reinstall our two T15 torque screws. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our S&B Cold Air Intake with Dry Extendable Filter for your 20 to current 6.6 liter gas Silverado 2500 and 3500 HD. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.